What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and this is We Game, my weekly gaming news series in which I pick random gaming news and then bitch about it. Now, the craziest bit of news to come out this week is that Gamestop has decided to join the likes of most retailers and opt to do a in-store credit card. The next time you go to GameStop, they will ask you if you'd like to get a credit card, and if you do, you'll get between 5,000 and 15,000 PowerUp points, which is the equivalent of about $5 to $15. Oh, and could you do us the favor of kindly ignoring the fact that this credit card carries a 26.99% interest rate, which is about double the national average. Yeah! That means if you buy a single game at a $60 retail price and you pay the minimum amount each month, you could end up spending well over a couple $100s for that game. Awesome. But let's be entirely honest here, this credit card is not that much different from the credit card that you will get at any other retailer within the United States. The interest rate is about the same. My biggest complaint, it's just another fucking thing I have to say no to when I try to buy a game at GameStop. Howdy and welcome to GameStop. Hey, listen, I'll ring up your copy of Titanfall, but first I got a couple questions. Did you know you could trade in your video games at a fraction of their value to put towards a used iPad? And you can already pre-order Madden 16. Any pre-orders you want to take care of today, fella? Say, listen, are you a PowerUp member? Because if you're not, you're missing out on a fraction of the value that you spend here being returned to you in imaginary credit. Would you like to subscribe to our e-letter? And by the way, would you like to sign up for our high-interest credit card, you contemptuous piece of shit? Now, all joking aside, my local GameStop is actually fantastic, and I think it's because they do know me by name, and they know that when I come in there, all I want to do is buy a fucking video game. I think we could all agree the GameStop experience would be a lot better if they treated you the way Patrick treats me. This just in from the what the fuck is going on department. EA is the first gaming company to ever come up with a subscription service that ideally will work similar to Netflix. For only $5 a month or $30 a year, you will have access to EA Access. And then a lot of perks goes with this. You get access to the EA Vault, which currently only consists of 4 games, but they plan to add more. You will get early access to trials of games. You will get a 10% discount on any EA game that you purchase, including any of the DLC. Basically, this seems like a decent deal. Now, of course, there are some restrictions to the system. Any of the games from the Vault will have none of the DLC included, and you'll have to purchase that separately, though the 10% discount will apply. The system is currently slated to only be available on the Xbox One, and in fact, Sony has fired shots by saying they do not feel this system offers value to the customer, and that means it most likely never will show up on PlayStation. My biggest complaint, though, is that chances are brand new games will never show up here. They do call it the Vault, after all, and we know that EA is worried about the bottom line. They're never going to want to give up that retail sale. And that's a big shame because there are a lot of yearly titles that could benefit from a subscription service, especially if you're still paying for in-game items and DLC. Basically, this is a really good idea. We just have to wait and see whether or not EA completely fucks it up. The final bit of news that I want to talk about is the PlayStation Now open beta. Now, PlayStation Now is a streaming service in which you can rent video games and stream them directly to your device, starting with the PlayStation 4, but eventually to PlayStation TV, PlayStation Vita, possibly PlayStation 3, Bravia TVs, and a whole host of other places. I got a chance to sit down and try PlayStation Now today, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised. It worked very, very well, especially for opening day. I had no problem streaming my game. I had very little latency. Overall, it worked really well. Now, pricing had been a big issue going into this, but the reality of it is pricing has been adjusted. Some of the games are certainly still outrageous, but the majority of the games are fairly reasonably priced, and I think those are the games consumers will migrate to, forcing the higher priced games to adjust their prices to survive in the marketplace. But the best piece of news about all of this is that the lead developer has said that he's heard all of the feedback, and they are making lots of adjustments, including working on a subscription service that'll give us access to a lot of different games, and that's awesome. He also went on to say that the whole reason they're launching it into beta is because they want more complaints and more feedback and more information so that they can get it perfect for launch, and that is fucking awesome. Now, nothing is perfect. If you lose internet access, you'll lose access to your rental. The system doesn't work perfectly yet. It doesn't always work as well on the PlayStation. There are connection issues on their end, and there's a lot of things to be hesitant and careful about. But at the end of the day, it's hard to find much to bitch about other than game selection. Where are the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games? Where are the Vita games? These are games that I'd love to see on the system. Right now, it's exclusively PlayStation 3. But since PlayStation Now launched without too much problem and it's actually a pretty decent service that works well, I decided to give them my very first ever award. I know you guys at PlayStation like trophies. Here you go. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week. If you like the show, do me a favor, 360 no-scope that like button. Leave me a comment and let me know how I'm doing. Feel free to follow me on any of my social media listed above. But if you choose to do none of these things, that's okay. Know I love you very much for watching, and I'll speak with you soon.